Evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gooner Gathering. My name is Posh Bertie, the poshest and the most sunburnt man in all of sports entertainment.
Oh, no.
And joining me, as always, is Gooner Gathering's founding father, the man himself, Mr. Gooner Lee Meads. Lee Meadows, how are you today?
I am great. Thank you very much, Posh. It has been a very, very interesting day, to say the least. And yeah, looking forward to bringing a preview to everybody in what's going to be a very interesting weekend's football, that's for sure.
It will be, and I'm about to do some live admin. I'm just currently promoting our very stream on the Twitter machine, or X as they call it. There you go.
Oh,
We're
wow.
live now. I've just tweeted it.
I see that.
Hopefully,
I see that. Good work.
Here we go. That's it. I've done a live X post.
Thank you very much. It has been so hectic here. I haven't had a chance to breathe, literally. So yeah, thank you for doing that. It is much appreciated. I did put out a community post earlier on, so hopefully that should lure the millions and millions in.
I know how you feel when it comes to getting your breath back, because I've just come out of sporting retirement today by playing a bit of cricket for some work colleagues doing their charity cricket match. I was going to come there today as a way of showing support, but due to a shortage of players, I was going to be their equivalent of Mohammed El Resort.
You were going to be a bench sitter.
There you go. It was very nice. It was a very nice day, and I've caught the sun. So yeah, always great.
Dear.
Now, we are going to hopefully be joined by a special guest. So this is, of course, the preview show for Man United versus Arsenal at Old Trafford. We should hopefully be getting a Man United fan in hopefully in a minute, by the name of Kyle from Wrestle Dogs. We've mentioned Wrestle Dogs countless amounts of times. They are basically our sister channel. And Mr. Heel Batman himself, whenever, will hopefully be appearing on screen. But we can, as our posh people say, we can filibuster as much as we want in order to make sure he gets his minutes of fame in. And I am, of course, wearing his Heel Batman t-shirt to mark this special occasion. I sent him the link. I hope he can join us.
Fantastic. And of course, that's wrestledog.com/YouTube. YouTube.com/wrestledog. My head's is in all sorts of places right now, mate. So
you've had a beer, haven't you?
I've had a shandy.
Ooh, very fancy.
Fancy. So I reckon we should, before we get into the match previews, shall we talk about other stuff going on between the club? There is some contract news to talk about, and I'd love to hear your opinions on it. Jorginho has signed an extension. This has been very much in the offing for quite some time. It has been confirmed today. I believe it's a year extension. What are your thoughts on Jorginho staying and in fact Arteta's comments about how important Jorginho is to the club?
I can see why people were critical towards it, because it does look like a sign of us not moving forward. However, now when we signed him, I had my doubts. I thought, oh, here we go again, Chelsea cast off FC and all that. But when he's, I think 80% of the time, if not more, when he's played for us, I think he stabilizes our midfield. And I think he is actually a good squad player. Now, granted, I know that he's not getting any younger. Is he going to be 33 next year?
Yeah.
So I think he's probably one of the oldest, if not the oldest player in our team.
But comfortably, probably.
For an experienced head, someone who has won major trophies like the Champions League and the Euros, won the Champions League with an English club nonetheless.
Yeah.
I just think it provides good experience in the team. And for someone who, I know he can't play 90 full minutes at his age. We've seen that. but for someone to maybe come off the bench, provide a bit of stability in our midfield, he's a good squad player. I think if they announced that Cedric had signed a contract, then I'd be a bit more angry. But with Jorginho, I'm okay with it as long as maybe he's not going to be here forever. We're not going to try and make him here until he's like 40, because at some point we do need to move on. But I don't think we're at that stage yet. I still think, even though he can't play 90 full minutes, in small doses he can offer us something. What say you?
I said, if you remember last January when we signed him, I was so happy with the signing because it does give us a bit of experience. It gives us a bit of solidarity, gives us a very experienced midfield player who can offer an awful lot in terms of leadership. He can give you quality on the ball. He can give you some nice defensive work. And if you need a penalty taker, well, is one there for you. Who's that in the comments, mate? Who's that?
In the clock end, Arsenal FC says, good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Good to see you.
Welcome. It's lovely to see a new name in there. I think that's a new name, isn't it?
I can confirm now that is not a new name, because when I was checking in on our stream against Bournemouth, I saw when it shows the live chat, in the clock end FC was there, and it came up as the regular viewer himself. It's AFC always. He's changed his name.
He's changed his name again. Go. Wow. Okay. He's got more. He's got more personas than Mick Foley.
Oh, there we go. The many faces of AFC always. Great to see you, sir. Anyway, always a regular in our chat. It's
Absolutely
always wonderful to see you. One of our loyal listeners.
Absolutely is. Can I carry on?
Yep, you can.
Because what I have in front of me is I have Arsenal.com in front of my eyes. I'll give Arteta's views if you wish, just for a little bit. Just so Arteta, off Arsenal.com, saying there are no questions about his contribution to the team, the way he feels about his teammates, about the club, and about the way we play. He's someone who makes everyone feel better. That's his main quality. He's still hungry. He still wants to win. He wants to win with us. He's happy here, and his family are here. So for us, it was a very, very easy decision to make. AFC always, or in the clock end, you found me out, laugh out loud.
Well, I checked the stream that we did against Bournemouth, and
I'm impressed with your work,
and AFC always appeared at the same time. So you would have got away with it if it wasn't for those meddling stream
pesky kids. And I like that reference. I like that reference a lot. How's this for a bit of a viewpoint in the press conference today? Jorginho being called almost like Mikel Arteta's eyes and ears on the pitch, again from Arsenal.com. He's a very important player for all the coaches because his game understanding and the way he communicates and coaches people is excellent. We've even seen that when he's not on the pitch. We've seen that when he's on the touchline, giving encouragement, certainly to younger players as well. You need those type of players. But on top of that, I think he's a role model. It's very difficult to find someone better than him. When he needs to be it and serious and drive people, he does it. And when he needs to be fun and relaxing atmosphere, he's one of the best. He's a good combination of all of that. So, I think there's lots to take away from what Mikel Arteta has said there. With it being he is a senior pro in the side, and I've seen this quite a lot in certainly within the last year and a half, perhaps at Arsenal, when you see some of the senior players, one of which has already had a mention on our pre-show, if you like, before we come on air today, are Mo El-Neni, for example, having a bit of an impact on some of the younger players. Xhaka, when he was here last season, spent a bit of time alongside Jack Wilshere in the under-21 side. I think it's very important to have someone like a Jorginho amongst us to guide some of the. I mean, let us not forget we have a very young side amongst us, and when you have a bit of experience like a Jorginho who's seen it, done it, got the t-shirt, do you know what? The importance of someone like him to get us over the line potentially cannot be underestimated at all.
Okay, fair enough. Jorginho is a good player, but at some point we will need to move on, obviously.
Yeah. And I'm not saying
I'm going to call him AFC Always. I think it's easier.
Yeah.
But AFC Always, the clock end says, if Tomiyasu is doubtful for the Man United game, I would play Kivior. Do not play Zinchenko. Listen, even if Kivior's out, which he isn't, I'd play Gabriel Magalhaes at left back rather than Zinchenko. There's a bit of rumour and innuendo around Tomiyasu. He was training, but not with the first team, as far as I'm concerned. Mr. Meadows, I think you're more in the know than I am. Mm-hmm. What is going on with one Takahiro Tomiyasu?
So, to hear the news that he wasn't training amongst the players over this week was not a surprise to me at all. You've got to bear in mind that Tomiyasu has had an injury, and perhaps he's dealing with more of a sort of individual plan than a thing with the I understand the importance of being out there with the lads, but also let's bear in mind he was out for a long time. Some people will say, "Oh, he's injury prone. We need to get rid and whatever." No, I'm very much of no. Tomiyasu is actually a very fantastic defender. I've got no problem with him doing his own thing. So he would have played. I think he actually played all of the game, if I'm not mistaken, against Bournemouth. But to see him sort of doing the cool down stretch kind of early part of the week away from the first team, it's not a surprise to me in the slightest, ladies and gentlemen. I would have thought it'll be a huge. Let me just say, it will be a huge surprise if we line up Old Trafford without Tomiyasu in the side. I mean, come on. Look. As much as I like Kivior, hello Josh, welcome mate. I see you, mate.
I'll catch up with the chat later.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as I do like Kivior, probably not the game for someone he's played a few games. He's more predominantly a centre half. You know that as well as I do. I'm lining Tomiyasu up if it's possible. Look, we'll see. I think more of a question mark in terms of a starting lineup for us is probably Saka after the treatment that he did receive during the Bournemouth game. Let me throw it back to you. What do you think to that?
About Tomiyasu?
So from what my comments, Tomiyasu and the Saka situation.
Well, I think Saka's going to be fit for the United game.
Yeah.
But I think it will be a massive blow if Tomiyasu's out. I know people say he's injury prone. What I'm worried about, because he picked up a bit of an injury scare against Bayern, and I thought with him playing after that may have taken its toll. But at least if he's training, and if he's been training this week, then that is encouraging. Hopefully, his regime his workload has been a bit lighter. Yeah. Who knows? But you know what I'm like with training drill concerns. You've seen with Bertie, you've seen with Smith Rowe, and I'm just hoping. But I understand Tomiyasu. I just hope it's a light regime that he has.
I hear you regarding that. But what say you, being that one of our former physios now no longer works for Arsenal? He's actually on the other side for this weekend. Look, I'm afraid I can't put a name up right in front of me because that's too much admin for me right now. But
our former doctor has gone to Man United.
Precisely. But we, as far as I know, are a squad at the moment pretty much not looking too bad at all. We mentioned the two slight doubts, and the doubts we mentioned Tomiyasu, obviously, he played 90 minutes plus against Bournemouth, and Saka played, if I recall, about 85 thereabouts before he eventually got replaced. We all know the state of his leg, as someone took his leg out of his leg, as we mentioned on that YouTube short. So, but at this stage of the season, where we're literally we've got 2 games left, guys. We've got and you don't need me to tell you that we've got Man United on Sunday, and next weekend is of course the end of the season, and Everton. That's all that's left. I mean, it's not as if I don't know. It's a strange one because we have had a few injuries along the way, but some of it, I don't know, maybe somewhat goes under the radar. Like, for example, like when
we used to be like Injury FC back in the day, but I think we've only got one player injured, and that's Timber, and he's like on the road to recovery pretty swiftly, isn't he?
So it's interesting with Timber because he played about 70 minutes or so in the game in the under-21s last game. But then of course, Arteta's saying, "Oh yeah, he's fully fit and whatever." But then he didn't actually end up on the bench at all in the last game. But it's not saying no one's saying he's had any sort of setback. I think it's a case, and I think we kind of covered this, where it's very much a case with him. It's a break glass for emergency kind of thing. And you know, if we have, all right, say Tomiyasu breaks down, at least we do have a Kivio, and I suppose if it all goes terribly wrong, I mean, there are other players there, but who knows?
Well, let me just catch up with the chat now because there's a lot of, and I've seen a certain name in the chat, and it's always good to see him. AFC always says giving Jorginho a new 1-year contract makes sense. If it was more than that, questions should have been asked. I agree with you there. Josh Truguna, good evening. Always good to see you, sir. He's going 3-1 to Arsenal against Man United. Niall Kane says good evening. Good evening, Niall.
Man United fan in the chat.
He says, as a Man United fan, I think you will beat us and outplay us. Well, that's on paper, my friend. In the clock end, AFC always, whatever his name is now, says Arteta would play Saka even if he had one leg. If Saka was in a wheelchair, he'd still be playing.
Probably.
AFC always says you can't let Timber play any part in a game like this. I don't think we'll see him on the bench. I think he's done for the season, in my opinion. Yep.
Yes, sir. You're quite right. You're quite right. As I said a bit ago, it's a break glass for emergency, and it is emergency only. I think the thing with Timber is making sure he's fit to start next season, whether that be at Wembley or somewhere else.
Absolutely. Pedro Wanless. Mr. Wanless Senior is in the chat.
Yeah.
He says, Man United have no centre-backs and have just lost 4-0 to Crystal Palace. This has got 1-0 to Man United written all over it. You can see where I get my sarcasm and negativity from. It's hereditary.
Yeah, absolutely. But what we saw out of Man United, it's not just a one result thing, is it? I mean, from very much game week 1 when they played to Wolves, they looked a little bit iffy, to say the least. And I mean, there are problems everywhere at Old Trafford. Let's be honest. I mean, so as far as I see, in terms of any updates, in terms of what they've got to deal with, I think with is it Martinez? It's the defender from Ajax
Sandro Martinez.
Yeah. I think it's come too close for him to come back with, and I think it's probably right to break it down a little bit, in the words of G Generation X, and they played. Let me get the name right. Cambiasso.
Cambiasso, former Inter Milan player.
Yeah, at centre half over the last game against Crystal Palace. And
Casemiro, you mean?
I do mean Casemiro. Sorry, I don't know where
You're
my
thinking
head
of
is.
Esteban Cambiasso, the former Inter Milan midfielder.
Yeah. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. Tell me how it's been a long week.
What do you see?
Goonerly with personality.
You've got plenty of personality.
Thank you very much. Right. So look. So you pulled me up, and I'll try and recover from that now. Thank you. So he was lining up in centre back position, which absolutely isn't his place anyway. But United are dealing with so many injuries and issues that they kind of felt that they had to. Now, do I think he's going to line up at centre half against Arsenal on Sunday?
Do they have a choice?
Yeah, they've got a choice. They could look into the depths of whatever they have in their academy issues, and they could probably play perhaps a centre half that's got some legs, and perhaps someone who's not completely done. Hello, Mrs. M. Bless her. But honestly, after what we saw against Crystal Palace, when they, let's be honest, were absolutely destroyed, I can't see Ten Hag doing that again. Surely, what do you think?
They've not got much choice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire's out, Varane is out. I think the only proper centre back they have left is Johnny Evans.
Go, Johnny, go.
Will Johnny be good in defence for United on Sunday? We'll have to wait and see. Or in WCW, will Johnny be bad?
Wow, a WCW reference, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go, Mark Mero.
Absolutely. Posh, you are a wild man.
Well, I was during my spell of cricket today. Let's catch up with the chat.
Yep.
AFC Clockend always says, I would take a scrappy 1-0 win on Sunday. The performance means nothing. It's all about getting the 3 points. As us posh people say, I've sent you the link, Carl. Go on.
Hello.
As you know, I slid into your DMs and sent you. I'm going to say I sent you the link in bio, but that's a bit promiscuous. I sent you the link to this stream. Please, copy and paste it or whatever, and it's in. Hopefully, you will get that. He says trying to make it back before you get off. All right, we can filibuster all we like.
Absolutely, with all sorts of wrestling references and shenanigans and all sorts of stuff going on. Absolutely, we can fill for the main event, no problem.
Absolutely, because it's always nice to get a Man United fan. Tell you what, if I will say, if Kyle couldn't make it at all, it would have been short notice. But Sophia talks football.
I do, yes.
I was tempted if Carl wasn't going to make it, I would have used her as a substitute, but I would have had to contact her early in the morning because it would have been short notice.
Oh, of course. I know Sophia.
But that
Excellent
was
channel, by the way.
only if Kyle couldn't make it. He is the main event of the evening.
Yeah, of course. So look, if we are filling for time until Kyle gets here.
Just one more comment.
Yeah, of course.
AFC always says if you did a combined 11 between Man United and Arsenal this season, not one Man United player would make it. Well, I'm not sure if Kyle's going to like that. Oh my God. I'm just waiting for the train at the moment. I'll jump in as soon as I'm home. How long is it going to take for you to get home?
How long do you want us to waffle?
If you're going to say like an hour, then I don't think we'll be. I don't think we'll be.
I don't think. I don't know. Do we have an HBK and Bret Hart sort of iron match in us tonight, mate? I'm not sure if we do. To be honest.
Well, let's hope the boyhood dream will come true on Sunday.
Yeah, well, would be nice, wouldn't it?
For us, and Arsenal beat United at Old Trafford. Let us know how long it's going to take for you to get home.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll sort of try and work our way from there. Train's supposed to be
here at 2040. How long is it going to take for you to get home, though? Please answer in minutes. Hopefully not hours.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Do you know what though? The bonus is at least I'm not crackling, eh?
No, absolutely not. We are though having a crackling good time on this stream.
Absolutely, we are. And if you are having a crackling good time at home, please make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, follow us if you're watching us over on the Twitch channel as well, by the way. And yes, we'll have a jolly nice time. Do you know we're above the 310 subscribers now on the old YouTube, mate. Incredible effort from everyone who watches us live and on demand as well. It's very much appreciated, of course.
All right. I was gonna in more. Oh no! I thought that was you. As we fill in for some time, we do have he'll probably get home at 9. How long are we gonna? How long do you expect this stream to go on? How long were you planning to go on for, Mr. Meadows?
About an hour.
Wrestle dogs.
I'm a 60-minute.
I know you said this to me. I thought I was joining you guys for the actual game on Sunday, not the pre-show. Would you know what he asked me about this?
All
providing Kyle, you can keep the language barrier down. How would you feel about Mr. WrestleDogs joining us on Sunday for the watch along?
Let's do it. If you want to, let's do it. I'm well up for that. We'll have a little bit of a prep talk beforehand, but yeah, why not? It's going to be a heck of an occasion. We'll give everyone a chance to talk during the chat along, as we call it. So yeah, why the Dickens not?
Excellent. Although it might be, you might have to put an age restriction on it then. But I know what Carl might have some frustrations as a Man United fan.
He'll be saying, "Oh goodness me! Oh dear!
Oh fiddlesticks! Casemiro's at it again."
Yeah, you say that. It's probably a good time to mention the fact that they did do us over last season, and I was kind of hoping you'd give me your thoughts on that. It wasn't just United doing us over. Of course, there was a bit of a VAR thing going on as well. But they did do us last season. It was an Anthony debut goal, opened the scoring, of course. Saka did equalise with a bit of a help from Odegaard as well. And then a double from, if you believe what some of the people talk about on Twitter, X, whatever, Arsenal target Marcus Rashford. Pretty similar sort of goals, actually, where they kind of beat up the offside trap Rashford got through on goal twice, pretty much. The second one had an assist from Christian Eriksen. So, how do you think this one is going to go, Posh?
I think United are in a... I need to be careful because I know that this will be like things that age brilliantly. Last season, United were in a bit of a different situation. For example, they had centre-backs in their team. And
it does help, doesn't it?
They were just about, after a... I say wobbly, they lost 4-0 to Brentford, but after a bit of a lackluster start, they were going back up, climbing up the ladder briefly, and it all kind of blossomed with a 3-1 win over us at Old Trafford. And I don't remember much in-depth stuff about that game, other than it was one of the games we covered for Cannon Chatter. What I do remember is that we started off quite well. We had a goal disallowed, and then United just played us off the park. We got an equaliser, but I think United were the better team, especially in the second half. Old Trafford, look, it's always going to be a tough place to go. Let's not beat around the bush. Look, when United lost 4-0 to Palace this week, I did a little tweet saying, I said it was going to be a tough game. But if I said something along the lines of, if we lose to this lot, I will personally drive to Manchester, hand Arteta his P45, as Kyle says, United in the chat. This may come as a surprise to you.
You're channeling your own Goldbridge there, I think, mate.
That tweet was a little bit of a joke. I know I have a sense of humor. I know it, but I know it's a surprise. But
what? No.
It's going to be tough, but because going to Old Trafford's always going to be tough. But what I'm trying to say is, even if we do lose, it will look quite bad, won't it? Based on how some of our fans have been giving United all of that on the old social media. And for them, United to win, look, on paper, we should win this, but out of sheer embarrassment, that's what I'm fearing. What say you?
Yeah, I get it. Look, see, unfortunately, I am old enough to remember some humblings at Old Trafford, right? And I'm talking...
From a 2011?
I remember it extremely well. I was working that day. For a certain retail company that was very much in my previous life, and wasn't a great time. Wasn't a great time at all. Emerson is in the chat. Hello, mate. I've got to tell you, mate. There's a lot of buzz on social media about your namesake, that people wanting some inside goss. If you have any.
So. For anyone who's new in the chat, WrestleDogs, for example, Emerson Cozier may or may not be related to one of Arsenal's academy players, Mr. Cozier Dubry. There is a lot of buzz surrounding Arsenal's academy, but at the end of the day, he says no gossip, I'm afraid. But at the end of the day, when Arteta's
I wouldn't expect any leaks.
Academy players aren't going to get a shoe in. Unless we're beating West Ham 6-0.
I don't know about that. We look yet to be decided. Let's give them plenty of props, by the way, before we get any further. As Emerson would have commented on our previous stream, for the young lads to beat Man United 6-2 in the first bit of the playoffs towards getting promotion into Premier League One for the under-20s. I want to say under-23s. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's right. That was a phenomenal performance. I have seen a lot of that, and of course, Kosa Dubry did score. I think he scored a couple in that game actually, but absolutely. So Right, where were we? Sorry.
Well, you were talking about potential. You've been humbled at Old Trafford before.
Humbling at Old Trafford.
Yes, we've had
Quite.
plenty of those in our time. But all I
Wouldn't
can
it be
say,
nice?
yep.
Wouldn't it be nice for us to keep on doing what we've been doing? Certainly away from home. You know how good our away record is. Certainly in this calendar year as well, mate. Wouldn't it be nice just to come away from Old Trafford and maybe empty the stadium before the game is done? Let's say it that way.
Well, I think come half time, or at least the hour mark, the United Stadium will be quite empty anyway, because a lot of their fans have to come back home to Surrey or back home to London, don't they? Because that's where most United fans are from in England. So yeah. Emerson says they're in action against Chelsea under-21s tomorrow, and the under-18s against Tottenham away.
Fantastic. We'll keep an eye on that. That's for sure. But
you mentioned, yeah.
Well,
carry on.
No, I mean, I think that there's a new way they're dealing with that, like promotions in the academy leagues this season. So obviously, if they're going against Chelsea tomorrow, it'd be an interesting match for sure, and have another North London derby as well while we're at it. Why not? Be a good time. Certainly, I mean, didn't Jack's side get beat by Tottenham? I think within the last week, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't ask me. I think Emerson's the guy you got to ask.
I believe Jack Wilshere's got beat by Spurs in a bit of a thriller the other day. I'm going to have to try and find the score, aren't I? But yeah.
Well, while you do that, I will say that yes, we've had some humblings at Old Trafford before, but there were times when we've had some pretty good, memorable results at Old Trafford. I remember when you did your Desert Island Kickabouts. One of your matches you picked was a match at Old Trafford, a good old-fashioned, if I can find Clock End AFC always his comments. It was a good old-fashioned 1-0 to the Arsenal. A certain Mark Overmars.
Overmars. Wow, yes. That was a good
getting
time.
a goal for Arsenal. Do you want to reminisce on that game a bit more?
Yeah, of course I will. I mean, we hadn't got anything at Old Trafford for a long time, and Arsenal had a good game that day. And what sealed it was Overmars' pace, and from one pass, he literally just tore the United defence apart. And yeah, absolutely, yes, I thought it was right. 3-2 defeat. Yeah, Overmars had a fantastic finish in it, and yeah, it almost felt like a little bit of a change on the guard to some extent. Of course, I remember another one as well, where Sylvain Wiltord.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, spoilers. It was never my favourite striker for Arsenal, but one certain occasion where you had to step in because, if I'm not mistaken, one Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp might have been missing. I believe we lined up at Old Trafford with Wiltord and Carnu, and I believe
good old Carnu, criminally underrated striker.
My goodness me, Carnu was so good, absolutely incredible. And yeah, if I recall, it was Freddie Ljungberg, like he often did against Man United, from day one in his first team career. I remember Freddie scoring against United at Highbury on his debut in a 3-0 win. That was a good time as well. Yeah, and Ljungberg having a shot that got battered away. Who was the goalkeeper then? Was it Van der Sar? Might have been.
In 2002. I think it might have been Barthez.
Barthez? Fabian Barthez? Yeah, it was. It might have been Fabian Barthez. And then, of course,
I think it may have been a bit too late for Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah, I think you're right. And of course, we'll talk getting the tap in. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
that was
the iconic commentary line was pushed up by Barthez. Will Tor.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely. I need to rewatch these the classic games. It's been a while.
And it's been a while since the Miss Molina was in our chat.
All of probably 1 week, probably, if I recall. It is lovely to see you, Miss Molina. Hope you are doing very, very well, and hope everything's treating you good. Hope your channel's doing really well as well, because I see Miss Molina is back doing her streams at the moment. So yeah, give her a check out on the old YouTube and give her a subscribe as well. She's a lovely lady. Thank you very much.
Very well said.
Thank you.
So we can I was here when Lee covered the women's stream. Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
His women's football knowledge my knowledge is a bit hazier than Mr. Meadows. So I probably wasn't there. I was probably busy playing Football Manager or something. But yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I put, so I think we put a video out. I know Sam's put out a video since then as well. So yeah, we're still covering the WSL. It's an interesting stage of the season now, of course. With I think we've got one more game to go, isn't there? And the title race is all to play for between Manchester City and Chelsea. Unfortunately, we are not really in a place to get in the title race. But our last game of the season is against Brighton on Saturday, May the 18th, I believe.
Okay, the day before the last game of the season.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Goodness me! And then of course, shortly after that, there's the big event that's going off in Australia, because the Arsenal ladies are playing a league. A league. That's what the Australian league is called. All Stars women are playing the Arsenal side on Friday, the 24th of May. I think Newcastle United men and Spurs men are playing in the first match, I think, on that day as a bit of a celebration for footballer over there.
Okay, well there you go. Let's just
That's
drift
knowledge.
Back to,
Yeah.
Excellent. And apparently you weren't taking any notes. Let's go back to.
I've got one page of a few things there. That's it. All I've got tonight.
You never stop working, and I admire you for that. Yeah. So
never give up. Never stop. Ain't no stopping me. No.
Drifting back to the United Arsenal game, because that is what we're meant to talk about.
It's true.
Oh no, I forgot what I was going to. Oh yeah. Obviously, as I keep mentioning, all that we've got to keep doing is just winning, and the team has got to focus on themselves rather than what goes on elsewhere, because that's important. Both Arsenal and in some case even the fans, we can't let Man City live rent-free in our heads before the game. It has to be. I'm not stopping you from doing your watch-alongs of Man City games. Go ahead. Do it, because they are important if you want to depend, because we have to rely on City to drop points.
It's all about the content, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if I could tomorrow, I'd be doing Man City against Fulham, but I can't because A, I'm working, and B, I don't have the TV subscription. Apart from that, it'll be fine. But
yeah, so obviously we have to any chance of winning the league, we have to rely on Man City dropping points. This is why I said, and I've said this. Some people will disagree with me, but my thoughts are Arsenal screwed Arsenal. You know, it was our fault Not me and you. It wasn't our fault. It was Arsenal. It was the team's fault.
Yeah, it probably was my fault. I covered it.
It was the team's fault that they could potentially have lost out on the league. I'm looking at December, for example, 3 losses on the bounce. That's what I'm losing to Villa, West Ham, Fulham.
Yeah,
which Man City have, home to West Ham and away to Fulham. Those are the games that we lost. Who knows? But what I'm trying to say is, and the 2-0 loss to Villa as well at the Emirates. Now, I'm not saying, we've got to go invincible all season. Obviously, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just looking at various...
You have to go back about 20 years for that one, mate.
I'm just looking at... Well, unless you're Bayer Leverkusen. I'm just looking at various games where we should have won, both on paper and during the game. Yeah. Where we had all these chances but failed to score. The West Ham and Fulham game in December, I just think we really should be winning those games. And I'm looking at those games, and that was what made the title disappear, if that makes sense, in hindsight, looking back on it. Meanwhile, City haven't lost since December.
All right. So, mate, with a few games to play, you're writing it all off. I'm not writing.
No, I'm not writing it all off. But I'm just saying, if City don't drop points, which I'll be honest, I don't think is going to happen. I get you. If we end up at the end of the season with the Premier League trophy being draped in blue ribbons again, then at the end of the day, it's Arsenal's fault that we lost out on it because of the loss against Villa at home and the silly losses against West Ham and Fulham.
I get you.
The home game against Fulham when we drew 2-2, when for some reason Arteta decided to drop Gabriel and play Partey at right back. If we had the lineup that we had now, we would have won that game. So it's these things that there are many things that may have, there's so many things we could have done but didn't. That's what I'm trying to get. It's not our fault we couldn't win the league because Man City are a massive beast that can't be stopped. No, I'm looking at December and some various decisions being made, and I just think it was there, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I know where you're coming from. I'm also going to come back at you with the fact that I do think we have slightly less resources that City do have, and when they for example, they can quite happily drop, say, a likes of a Foden, and then there may be someone else to come in who's of equal standing, if you like. You know what I mean? Like a Jack Grealish, for example. I take a lot of positives, one way or t'other, in how this season's gone, and for us to be where we are right now, and still being top of the. I'll say it now because obviously it's Friday night, and we can say it now. We're still leading the Premier League with only 2 games for us to go. Is a hell of an effort, and I've written a couple of scenarios which I think are quite fun to talk about. We've got former Arsenal goalkeeper in Bert Leno playing against City tomorrow. So I don't know what
Leno, Iwobi, and Willian.
So what do we say? Say 89th minute, Man City penalty, and Holland steps up, misses the penalty, saved by Leno. On the counter-attack, Leno throws the ball up to Alex Iwobi, who then takes the ball up to Willian, who scores in the last minute to make it 1-0.
Like Watford against Leicester in that playoff. Ladies and gentlemen, stop everything you are doing. Welcome back, our resident Cobblers fan, Luke Chapman. He's been gone for a while. It's been a while, but he's back. A while. Northampton Town goalkeeper Louis Molden. He's left the Cobblers. Well, we're looking for a backup keeper when Ramsdale goes next season. So could Louis Molden be the one as backup to Raya next season? He's probably got a better chance than Chesney has coming back.
Oh, darn it. You said it. You said the word. I was going to say, would you take him ahead of Wojciech Chesney?
With all due respect to the Cobblers, probably not. But I think I can't see it really. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think there's more of a likelier chance of Karl Hein as our backup keeper than Chesney. That's my worry.
I get you, but how much league football has Karl Hein had? Probably not a lot, I would think.
That's a concern.
But then again, look, primary, if we want to talk transfers just for a minute, look, it's probably a done deal as far as I'm concerned. With
anyway.
with the Golden Glove winner, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, David Raya.
Yeah.
What an effort from him when he's, in a lone season as well, missing out on a few games, not being with us at the start. For him to pick up that award is nothing short of spectacular. So it would be no spoilers for anyone to think, maybe he will be the first one across the line in terms of a permanent transfer in the summer. But yeah, we're definitely going to need to be looking at a more experienced goalkeeper. I totally expect Ramsdale to go, of course, and he's gonna need to for his career, isn't he? Let's be brutal about it.
There's rumours about him going to Newcastle, and I'm thinking he will have the same situation when it comes to Nick Pope being in goal for Newcastle.
It depends on what Nick Pope's situation is in terms of his injury. He's been out for
next season.
He's been out for a long time as Nick Pope, and there's a bit of a difference in the ages there as well. Because Pope's been around the game for quite some time.
Played for Welling United.
He certainly has. I've got a lot of respect for Nick Pope as a goalkeeper. I mean, they're quite similar, aren't they? They both feel like, how can I say it? They kind of feel like old school goalkeepers, and
they're both good savers
with the hands.
Yeah,
but maybe not so much on the kicking the ball around kind of thing. That's been the debate, obviously, that's been around for all season long. But again, an interesting one. And for Arsenal, right? If we weren't to get Chesney, for example, and that's quite of a nice story to think about. If he's out of contract, I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. It'd be quite nice for him to come back because actually I quite liked him. And I think he had a bit of a dispute. I certainly remember an incident in a changing room. I think it was against Southampton at St Mary's, if I'm not mistaken, where Chesney's Arsenal career actually came to an abrupt halt.
But it's a weird one, really.
Yeah,
it'll be a feel-good moment, but I just think I can't really see it happening. I don't know. Let's with the chats. I gotta catch up with the chat because we gotta be with men of the people. BX Gunner says, we'll get to it in a minute. BX Gunner says, I'm hoping Bowen and the Hammers can stop them on the last day. It was at the London Stadium. I'd be a bit more optimistic, but at the Etihad, I don't know. Look, as I've said, all we've got to do is we've got to keep winning our games and just see what happens with Man City. Personally, if you want my prediction, I don't think they're going to drop any points. You could have argued Tottenham, but based on how Tottenham have played, I don't know. I think I think it's a false dawn.
I've got news for you. It's gonna take everyone by surprise. No one's gonna see it coming. But I promise you, no. It's gonna be a last minute. It's gonna
Højbjerg.
Sorry, I've just seen I thought United had just sacked Ten Hag, but it's Fabrizio Romano playing silly buggers. Right. Okay. Composure. Right. Okay. So I've got this scenario in mind. I've spoken about my Jamal High Hotspur about this, and he told me I was a naughty boy, right? So I picture this scenario when it's a last minute corner for Spurs against City next midweek, and there's Højbjerg meeting the ball with a clean header, just like he did against Arsenal, but for Spurs this time. And in mid-celebration, he's run away from all his teammates. He's ripping the shirt off like one Hulk Hogan to discover there's a red shirt underneath it. I know. It's a fun scenario. I mean, it's not what we think's going to happen. It's what we want to happen.
Yeah. Oh, when you said he'll rip his shirt off to reveal it's a shirt in red. I was going to make a political joke, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh my word!
In the clock end says, "What's worse?"
Keep away from that. No.
He was going to do a Natalie Elphick. In the clock end says, "What's worse, Ten Hag going to Bayern Munich or Southgate going to Man United?" Yes.
Well.
Right. I don't like Southgate ball, but if it keeps him away from the England job, then and United can suffer it.
I'm loving Southgate instead.
Oh, don't. We'll get to the Euros chat when the Euros comes. We've got a squad capable of winning it all, but there's a certain someone holding us back, isn't there? Miss Molina says
no chance.
Miss Molina says I think Jonas should leave.
Yeah, and I understand that argument. He did pick up Jonas Einveld, the women's team manager.
Oh, okay.
But he did pick up the Conti Cup, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to talk this subject through with Sam and Matt at some stage. This season has been exceptionally difficult with the amount of serious injuries that we've had to deal with, and being that we've managed to qualify for the preliminary stages in the Champions League, it's not a bad effort from because the WSL is extremely. How can I say? You make one slip up, you can't really afford to slip up any more than 3 or 4 games, and then because it's quite a condensed kind of league, if you understand what I mean. So look, give Jonas a full squad with, like, for example, Leah Williamson, who's been missing for a long part of it, and of course Beth Mead, who's now fully fit and in roaring form. What Vivian Miedemar is going to do in the next season, what even Stina Blackstenius is going to do in the next season. I heard the chants at the Man City Stadium last weekend. Stina, we want you to stay. I heard them. There's some doubt whether she's going to stay or not. I hope she does stay, because I think she's our top scorer for the season. And for someone like her to come off the bench like she did last weekend to score a double against the potential league winners. Bear in mind, obviously there's still a game to go, and obviously there's still matches to play, but it's going to need some sort of miracle for City not to beat Chelsea for the title. I think it's difficult to think of someone who's going to do a better job. That's just my theory. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Fair enough. I can't really add much into that.
I appreciate that. What I will say is that, look, in terms of what we do here on Gooner Gathering, I would like to keep on some sort of content on the WSL next season. It doesn't do as well as some of our other content, but through a lot of our, like my former contacts over on Canon Chatter and stuff, I do keep a religious eye on it myself. So I certainly will do something in terms of the WSL next season. That's for sure. But it's kind of difficult when the videos don't get the views that we want it to do. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot of work, especially when you've got a full-time job like we do, and you're trying to get, there's lots of stuff goes on behind the scenes here as well. And obviously, I'm a daddy. Amy's behind me tonight at the moment. It's very difficult for us to get enough hours in the day, but we'll certainly try and keep some sort of WSL and indeed the cup coverage for next season if we can.
No, I do know that Gooner Gathering will be better and stronger than ever next season, as will the Posh Bertie YouTube channel, maybe. Ooh, hint, hint.
Ooh.
In the Clock End says, can you see Tuchel returning to the Premier League in the summer? I do believe he would like the Man United job. There have been rumour and innuendo
I've heard that.
Getting the United job. From a point of view of a United fan, I think he'd be better than Southgate.
Agreed.
But I think he's a contender to take the United job because, as AFC always says, I do believe they will sack Ten Hag after the FA Cup final, even if they win it or not. What
they did to Eric Van Haag?
Louis van Gaal's army. Sorry. Yes, I do remember. They won it and they still sacked him because Mourinho already agreed to be their manager.
Literally on the day, I think.
No, ridiculous. I think it was a few days after. But they They did a deal with Mourinho behind his back, I think. That's what it was.
Another dirty Mourinho deal behind the scenes, everybody. Who'd have thought it?
If they speak gay, I'm in big trouble. I don't know. I think we say this every season, but I think there needs to be a massive clear out at Man United.
Yeah.
It's looking like that in terms of the higher ups, but the players as well. Like you've got some. They're in their lockdown Arsenal era, aren't they?
I don't know. That lockdown Arsenal era won the FA Cup, didn't they?
At least they won a trophy, yeah. The United did under Ten Hag. They won the Carabao Cup. But I think they were in their pomp at the time.
Mickey Mouse Cup.
Trophy's a trophy. I've got the Carabao Cup final on my Football Manager save. We could win a trophy tomorrow.
You can see on the Gooner Gathering and on the Posh Bertie YouTube channel potentially tomorrow.
I think it will be tomorrow at around 8 p.m. So if you don't want to watch Eurovision, don't worry, because there's something worth watching on the Gooner Gathering YouTube channel, on the Football Manager stream. Posh Bertie's Barmy Army, let's go. Carabao Cup final, FA Cup game as well, and the Champions League knockout. So our season could discombobulate right in front of your eyes.
Absolutely. And to answer in the Clock End, yes, that's a big old bug bottle, and it's American's finest. On special at Tesco's, don't you know?
Well, I think we've been going on for an hour, believe it or not, in this stream.
How's that happened? That's flown by.
We will come to a close, I think. But before we go, is there anything you want to add on the United Arsenal game? And can we get a prediction?
Oh my word! Oh my word! You've asked me for the P word. Well, look, I can see us. I can see us getting all sorts of worked up on Sunday. I can see all sorts of drama going on, and then I can see the ghost of George Graham. He's not dead. He can floating above us.
No, George Graham will be in an aeroplane. He'll be floating above us. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. How do we fancy? How do we fancy a good old fashioned 1-0 to the Arsenal from a set piece? I'll call it. How does this sound, everybody? Do I have a club card? I've got better than a club card. I've got the club card that gives me even more money off because I'm staff. So I'll call it. I'll call it exactly. It's Bukayo Saka takes that corner. It's Gabriel who takes that header. It's a flick on. And it's Kai Havertz with the diving header on the far post to make it 1-0 in injury time. How does that sound?
Pushed out by Onana. Havertz!
It's in!
Oh, I think any player who scores will be fantastic, and I hope Havertz has a very good game, like he did against Bournemouth. He didn't score, but he had a good game against Bournemouth.
He
His
did.
best position is up front.
Yes, 100%. You get the best out of Kai. I don't know if you want to call it a number 9 position or the false number 9 position. Which one are we going for?
We'll say number 9 to make it look like we have a striker. But yeah, he is pretty much our striker.
Yeah.
What do you say to this?
Oh my God! Nketiah!
You're getting excited.
I mean, look, is Nketiah coming in for Saka or something? What's going on there?
I think no. It will come down. The title race will come down to the last game of the season. Oh my goody aunt! Better
is he here?
than never.
No. Hello, Carl. Or is it
Hello,
Sunshines.
Of course I have. And we've got the goat. The goat.
Oh my God, Cantona!
The greatest kung fu kicker in the business. Yes. Oh, we were just about to end, but he's done a Bayer Leverkusen and he swooped in the last possible moment. KJ, Kyle, good to see you, Mr. Heel Batman himself, and I've got your merch on. And this special occasion.
But look who it is. Thank you
Where
for
can
having
they find
me,
that
boys.
merch?
I really appreciate it. At Wrestle Dogs, on the Wrestle Dogs YouTube channel, if you want to go check that out. If anyone's into wrestling, you'll see a store on there. You can check out all the merch. We've got some beautiful merch. And thank you for having me on, boys. I really appreciate it, by the way. I'm in a bit of a rush, as you can see. But I
can see that. But you've got dressed up for the occasion, and it's appreciated. So, do you know what? Okay, so let's go off the script, shall we? I want to hear from a Man United fan. How are you feeling about how the season's gone? How your feelings are on Erik ten Hag, and after everything that went off at Selhurst Park on Monday Night Football, how is your state of mind? How are you feeling coming towards the big match on Sunday?
This might be like therapy.
Well, where do I start?
At the beginning, normally.
You know what? I think I'll start with... That's a good one. But I think I'll start with a positive. And I honestly am not Ten Hag out. I think it's deeper than the manager. It doesn't matter if we change the manager. Anyone could go there. It doesn't matter. It's way deeper than the manager. But still, I'm not looking forward to the game at all. And I'm not saying that Ten Hag hasn't made mistakes, because of course he has. But we can't blame it all on him, surely. We can't. It would be stupid too if we've just forgot everything that happened in the last 10 years and just been like, oh, it's Ten Hag's fault. Doesn't matter if we change the manager. But I'm not looking forward to the game as well. Yeah.
Take it.
All I was going to say, it doesn't help when you've got a little bit of an injury crisis at the back, and when you add Casemiro, or if you I don't know if you've seen Ted Lasso, but Casemiro is the spitting image of Nate Shelley nowadays. Look, it doesn't help when Casemiro gets sent on toast by Mateta against Crystal Palace, doesn't it? Do you think Ten Hag will play him at the back against Arsenal, or is there no choice?
Well, I hope not. I really hope not. Give him a rest, man. He's done his job. Give him a rest. Like, I think, if anything, we should just bring the young guns in. Like, they've worked well so far. Like, I think it's worth a try. Like, I can't see any other way for us. Like you said, we've got really bad injury problems. I'd love to see Martinez back. I think he's great. Like, I don't know if that's biased, but like, I think he's one of the best. I do.
He's a good defender
for a small centre back as well. But yeah, if we had the injuries sorted out, I think on Sunday it'd be a much better game. But I think it's going to be a good game either way. We always seem to have good games. United and Arsenal, it's one of them games. It's just two big teams, you know.
And like,
good game,
it's always a good game.
United turn up when I think you least expect them. Like against Liverpool at Old Trafford, for example, in the FA Cup, both in the FA Cup and in the Premier League.
Good shout.
I'm just worried that, I mean, on paper, with greatest respect, Kyle, we should be winning it.
Heel Batman.
I think he may have froze.
Phil, it's Phil. Carry on.
Okay. But yeah, as I was saying, United, they turn up when you least expect them. In the FA Cup against Liverpool and in the Premier League against Liverpool. That's what I'm worried about. You know, we could, us fans and the players will get a little bit complacent. And I think that you never know who might turn up for United in their squad. It's just a bit, that's what I'm concerned about. We might get a bit complacent.
So I'll ask Cole, because I think he's back, because I can see him moving around.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
It happens. Internet's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Batman just fight crime.
So if you want to play the youngsters, is there a name that you want to put amongst that side?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm not too familiar with most of the youngsters. I'll just like to see someone with fresh legs. Anyone? There's one called, is it Mengi or something like that? Anyone who's a centre back with fresh legs, ready to put in a shift and prove something on the pitch, you know? Because I think that's a big thing with us. Like, they know they've got their spot. They know they're going to play near enough every game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're playing if they didn't have that chance, you know? If they were still a youngster fighting for a spot, I think they'd play much more for the badge and, try harder.
It's the youngster Kobe Mino I'm quite weary of, because
what a player.
Very good game. And I think he's been your midfield general, really, hasn't he? He's practically carried the team almost.
It's crazy, isn't it?
He's been brilliant for you, hasn't he? He's been a light in what is mostly a season of darkness.
I prefer him like further up, though. I don't want him to be one of them, you know, holding midfielders just stuck at the back. Like, I don't want him to be one of those. I want him to be up there. He's shown he can score goals. He's quality on the ball. Like, he's one I'm really looking forward to see in the future.
Yeah, I think
so I mean, if there's anyone in the youth team that you might want to promote, I can't just remind you that literally last week Arsenal beat their youth team 6-2.
Hey, they can score goals. The same couldn't be said against the first team against Palace.
I mean, that was a cheap shot, to be fair, wasn't it? I hear. The lack of response means he's just said, "You son of a gun!" You.
I'm just waiting for more. I expected this with you know, a United fan against two Arsenal fans. I get it.
No,
Easy target.
It's all love, mate.
Too much for that.
It's all love. Honestly, it's all love. So,
I'll fight for my club.
Will you fight for the rights of every man?
I will. I am a real American. Sorry.
Will it come crashing down and hurt inside at Old Trafford for Man United on Sunday? We will find out very soon. AFC always says, when it comes to playing Man United at Old Trafford, to me it seems like a mental block from us. Our record hasn't been great at Old Trafford. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah,
look, I know that people are saying, "Oh, United will get battered by Arsenal." Football's not played on paper, believe it or not, and
it's not.
As I said, you've seen that United can turn up against some of the big clubs, against Liverpool, for example. That's what I'm weary of. What say you, Mr. Meadows? It is a bit of a mental block, isn't it, when it comes to our record at Old Trafford?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think if you look back on it, it feels like it's been an awful long time since we picked up it, you know, almost anything at Old Trafford for one reason or other. But look, just to make things interesting, wouldn't it be a great time for us to I don't know. I mean, like, I'm old enough to see a scoreline that's been sort of burned into my brain. It's like a CD gone burned into. You got the music gone in on your PC. I can see it without even opening my eyes. I see Man United 8. I see Arsenal 2. I want to see that reversed if we could. That'd be great. Thanks very much.
Well, this is the year to do that. If any year,
I'm joking, everybody. Clearly, I'm joking.
Well, I do think Tomiyasu or Kivior, maybe even Zinchenko to an extent, will be a better left back than Traore.
Oh, poor lad. Never had a chance, did he?
Never had half our team out then. There's no excuse for getting 8 put past you, but we did have like half our team out, didn't we?
It's best we not talk about it.
Miguel. It was.
Oh dear, it was a good time. I was working that day.
Last time we won at Old Trafford, and it was it was 1st of November 2020. We won 1-0.
1-0,
and
yeah.
The one, the only, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Yeah, Aubameyang. I knew this was coming.
To give our first win at Old Trafford for the first time, I think, in ages. So yeah, you lost to lockdown, Arsenal. Good heavens.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to explore, to be fair. No.
Yeah, Aubameyang penalty. Yeah.
I was thinking when you said Aubameyang, what happened to him? Like, where did he go? Does he still play for Arsenal?
He's at Marseille now.
Oh, is he?
There's plenty of pictures of him going around in social media this week, if you hadn't seen it. Didn't he get knocked out of the Europa?
Oh.
Yeah,
you'll be able to tell me.
In the Europa League. Let's not talk about Aubameyang because it's going to lead into a massive debate between me and Mr. Meadows, and it will probably last about 5 hours. So
that's all right. No, let's keep it going. I'm enjoying it.
No, we have a guest. We don't want to be rude to a guest, even though we've taken a bit of a dig at his team.
It's all good.
That was expected.
You've got a few injuries in your team. Like, what do you think the team lineup's going to be like?
Who knows? To be honest, I'm expecting not much of a change, like from what we've seen the last couple of weeks. I'm like you said, Casemiro. I'm hoping he changes that for sure.
He'll have to, wouldn't he? Surely.
But who knows? You just can't stay with United these days. I just don't know. Like, I think that like maybe in the higher ups, you know, it's like the Illuminati of the footballing game, the Man United. But yeah, I think.
Oh, we've got a run in.
Hello,
Mrs. M's in the building. Yeah,
Casemiro and Evans at the back. Oh, I hope not. Someone said that in chat, and I hope not. I'd like to see Evans, maybe. Who else have we got?
Good Evans, more like.
It will be good Evans, probably.
Oh my word! Can you imagine? But look, we'll see. We'll see what happens at Old Trafford. We are going to do the live watch along. We call it a chat along here on the channel, and it's going to be an interesting one. Big up the wifey. Says Arsenal forever in the clock end. Thank you, says Mrs. M. In keeping it with Guna Gathering canon. Keep it in canon. That's the way to do it.
No pun intended, of course, with Arsenal's logo.
Of course, duh. But yes, we'll be in position in the commentary box for the match, and it will be a completely PG stream with no stress being made, no bad language or anything like that. I believe have we scheduled it for 1:15? I think we have.
I think so, yeah.
4.
So 15 minutes prior to kickoff.
And it'll be a very interesting afternoon, that's for sure. Kyle, you are more than welcome if you want to join us for the live watch along.
I'd love to.
It'll be a different dynamic to our normal chat alongs, that's for sure. So yes, get parental permission before you watch our stream on Sunday, perhaps. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine.
If you do want to swear, mute yourself. Bit like I did when I'm bringing back bad memories for Carl. When Declan Rice scored the winner, and I muted it and shouted, "Declan Rice, come on!"
Flipping. It was flipping, wasn't it?
Flipping, yeah. Can't say any naughty words like that. Fiddlesticks.
That's one I like coming out with, especially in front of Amy. I do like the fiddlesticks. But so listen, before we head out today, because we have been on about an hour and a half, near enough, and I need to eat some dinner and go to bed quite soon because it's been a long old day. Let's give the floor to Kyle and give him a chance to promote completely our good friends over on Wrestle Dogs and what they're all about. So if you could go full screen, I'll put my teeth in as well. Poor old man can't talk. It's all yours, mate. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for having me, Gooner Gathering. If you like wrestling, go check out Wrestle Dogs. I haven't actually got it on here. I thought I did, but I'll type it in the chat for everyone just in case you don't know how to spell it or whatever. But go check out Wrestle Dogs if you're into wrestling. We love the wrestles and we have the wrestle in us. So, yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure to have you, mate. And obviously, if you saw we were having technical difficulties, shall we say, about putting our video up. It did go up on Gooner Gathering, and so so we managed to get it there in the end. Yes, in the chat, in the clock end, didn't Rashford make his debut against Arsenal and scored? I don't think it was his debut because I think he debuted in Europe before he made his Premier League debut. But yes, he did score in his Premier League debut, I believe, against the Arsenal at Old Trafford. Carl, you'll be able to tell me that one.
What was that? Sorry,
Rashford.
It was lagging for me. What about Rashford?
Rashford, didn't he score in his Premier League debut against Arsenal? I think he did at Old Trafford.
Yeah, right? He did. Yeah, that must have been a few years ago now, eh? It must have been like 6 years ago.
2016, I think.
Oh my God.
Like
Time goes so fast. That's crazy.
Makes you feel really old, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Certainly does. Certainly does. So, look, we'll have heel Batman with us on Sunday. We'll have Posh Bertie with us on Sunday. Where can they find you, Posh, on the social medias before we get out of here?
Well, you can probably find me applying lots of after sun to my head because I look like Brother Love at the minute. You can, I love everybody here. You can find me in terms of socials. You can find me on X at Posh Bertie. My Instagram is at Bertie Wanless. If I can get the socials up, there we go. I also run Gooner Gathering's Instagram account, which is at Gooner Gathering, where we watch Arsenal, so you don't have to. And a big shout out to Mile High Hotspur. Yes, he's from the other side of London.
There he is.
But he always watches us, and he's been a great supporter of us, so fair play. One more question from AFC Always. Who will make a mistake first, Onana or Raya?
Will Onana play?
Of course he will.
Is he? I don't know. Is he?
Of course he
will.
No, he's just rubbish.
He's just won an award, though. I'm not sure what award, but he won an award, so...
Didn't I see a photo of him putting, like, Vaseline on his gloves?
Really?
Yeah, something like that.
Putting Vaseline on his gloves? Why would you do that? Wouldn't it make it worse? Like Butterfingers?
It's to stop Ben White getting at your gloves.
So maybe it's a forward thinking. Except it was a few games to spare.
Perhaps.
Thank you, Mile High Hotspur. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's always nice to see the regulars in, and big thank you to everyone who's either watching us live or on demand. As we were saying, we've reached lengths. It's sort of 310 YouTube is incredible. It's hard work, but it's well worth doing, and we do it for you because it's a laugh. So, yeah, cheers, everybody. And
the most shots on goal. That comment. Onana won an award for conceding the most shots on goal. Come on, now. That can't be true. That's not what I saw.
To be fair, we expect nothing more than just banter from in the clock end, as we'll try and call him from now on. But I think for now, ladies and gentlemen, because I need to make an exit quite quickly, otherwise I'll have an accident. So, cheers for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for Gooner Gathering. I believe the poshest gaffer in the business will be in position tomorrow for a bit of Football Manager. We'll be probably as a trio in the booth for Man United against Arsenal on Sunday. It's going to be an interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So until then, I think we are out of here. Take care, everyone.